You're just in time, my friends. As your team leader, I couldn't have been more proud. We've come such a long way, haven't we? Ah yes, such a surprise to see them too, huh? Well, on my trip to the cellar with Mr. X, I suddenly spotted Mrs. X and Professor Plum casually having tea. They were safe all along, but in hiding. They needed to catch the real thief who had been stealing all the priceless art pieces from the manor and replacing them with fakes. And believe team, we have deduced it, so here's what happened. This is Mrs. X and Mrs. Green. They knew someone had been stealing the art pieces in the house, but didn't know who or how, and so they thought of a plan. They then immediately set off for Shanghai. But there's always someone who needed to know everything about everyone. Enter Mrs. Peacock. She didn't hire Colonel Mustard so he could investigate the art pieces. She just wanted to know everything. Meanwhile, Scarlett herself had a concert tour in Shanghai.
The waves, when oceans rise, my soul will rest in your embrace. For I am yours, and you are mine. Thank you. I love you all. Good night.
As Scarlett was Mrs. X's goddaughter, they had a fine time catching up over brunch at one of Shanghai's most Instagrammable cafes.
Oh, really? Wow. Oh, I didn't know that. That was very unexpected. Yeah.
Then, Mrs. X and Mrs. Green headed to a private auction at Shunguang Mansion.
Picasso, the 1932 showing on my left, and $58 million to start this. At $58 million.
It was fairly
$58
uneventful.
million. At 58 million, 59 million. At 59, 60 million, 61 million. At $61 million.
But as she headed for the washroom, she bumped into Professor Plum, an old friend of Mr. X.
65 million. It's here at 65
Oh,
million now.
I'm so sorry. Hi, nice to meet you. Yes.
65 million.
Oh, okay.
65 million.
Yeah.
The room to the side, 65 million. At 65
Okay. I have to go now.
66 million. 67
And he had some startling information about how the art pieces might have been stolen.
Wait, what?
She quickly called Mr. X and informed him of everything the professor said. And when she saw a peculiar art piece sold in 2 large pieces, she immediately bid on it. And then on June 1st, the party was in full swing. It was a marvelous time. But the dramatic Mrs. Peacock made a scene about Mrs. White's horrible food and drink. Mrs. Peacock then saw Professor Plum scribbling his findings in the butler's plant journal. The butler was annoyed and grabbed it back, but the professor soon found a box of chocolates to which he continued scribbling. Mrs. Peacock wanted to know everything that he wrote. Mrs. White didn't know either, but being annoyed at Mrs. Peacock didn't want her to let her know either.
What's that? What's going on? I want to know.
She then passed it to the next person she saw, Scarlett. She told her it was for Plum. Scarlett, however, couldn't eat the chocolates in public because she was supposed to promote healthy eating. So she left it aside and later ran out of the conservatory to eat them quietly. She guessed that someone had been tapping into their conversation and closely monitoring them. It could be anyone. She and Mrs. Green then staged a fight. And pretended that they left the art piece in the library. Soon after that, Mrs. X disappeared, along with the art piece.
She's really missing. What?
Well, this whole night, someone had been watching us all along, Mrs. White. We solved Plum's strange puzzles, and one of it inadvertently revealed that the last art piece was hidden by Plum somewhere in the library. Soon he was snatched. Mr. and Mrs. X knew this, of course. They knew once the bait was set, Plum would be in danger, and they had a plan to rescue him. Meanwhile, Mrs. White now discovered that all of you knew too much, so she had to make sure you all stayed quiet. Forever. I'm glad you all managed to come out in time. Then she took care of the lights. Notice the butler's plant journal containing Plum's strange graph. He was noting the times when he stayed over when he saw a pattern between the stormy and regular nights. Lightning occurs first, then thunder, then lights flicker in response. But on some nights, it was unnaturally the other way around. It had been rigged. Of course, Plum didn't know it had anything to do with missing art pieces. As for his scribbles on the chocolate box, he was writing in reference to whoever was toying with the lights. And he was right. Now, since we already caught Mrs. White, whoever a partner in crime is would already be on their way to grab the second art piece, falling right into our trap. No, it can't be.
I would have gotten away with it, even for you meddling kids.
With the perpetrators found, this case is now solved.
Wow, that was pretty funny. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, scene 1.
What?
Yeah. I don't know what else to say.
Why do you eat that chicken burger? I don't know, cause it was that and then I just want to eat it lah. Yeah, but you shouldn't have ate the chicken burger. It looked so yummy, so like I just ate it lah. It wasn't yours. So what? It was still on the table. No one said it was theirs, so I just ate it. It was my burger.